Welcome. Today we read from the Gospel of St. Matthew. The disciples of John approached Jesus and said, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast much, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, "Can the wedding guests mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast." The Gospel of the Lord. It seems to me that there's a natural tendency, at least in me, to make sure I'm on the right side, whatever that means. I'm with the right group. And I guess when I read the Gospels, I think the Pharisees are the bad guys. And then I go a little further and realize that Jesus was technically a Pharisee. So that doesn't work. What is it that conditioned me? I think it might have a message. The followers of John the Baptist in this Gospel are aligning themselves with the Pharisees insofar as they all keep the law. They were good Orthodox Jews. They believed in the law. And yet Jesus' followers seem not to be so locked in, as it were. And maybe there it is, that I get so caught up in minimalism in a sense. I measure myself by, am I doing the right thing? Am I marching with the majority? Am I accepted by most people? I don't like to stand out, really. I don't want to be a conformist, but at the same time, I don't want to stand out. And so I look for some middle ground. Now, what this brings me to is we're just a couple of days into Lent. And I was thinking of, I don't know about you, but making up a list of things that I'm supposed to do, sacrifice, penance for Lent. 6 weeks. That's a long time. And my tendency is always to get the negative, to give up this or that. And it's fine as far as it goes. But a couple of things happen. It becomes heavy burden. It becomes not joyful in any sense. And then, most importantly, by now, I'm thinking of giving it up. By Monday, I don't know. I just don't know. Never mind the next 6 weeks. But it's such a sad, burdensome time, unconsciously, because like the Pharisees, I get caught up in the rules and regulations, trying to do the law with no joy. And Jesus' invitation is not to ignore the law, but rather to embrace it and to move beyond it. He invites us to relationship. He wants us to love God. And I need to learn to do that. And maybe even more important, I need to remind myself to do it every day. Rules and regulations just don't work. It's like following a job description. Those of you who are married, I'm a good wife or a good husband because I do this, this, this. And that's like a contract. We enter into it. It's fine as far as it goes. But it's not a covenant. It's not, let's join our lives together and discover. There are guidelines, but each day can be different. Each stage can be different. And so in the beginning of Lent, I should be really wondering, what am I preparing for? Is it just to make myself sad? Experience some discomfort or pain? Is that it? Am I preparing for Good Friday and not Easter? And maybe there's the insight. Jesus invites me to prepare for Easter. And if I'm going to do it, then I may find myself looking within my life and saying there are things I shouldn't be doing that I'm doing, and those I want to give up. But I think as much as that is true, it's also true that there are things that I'm not doing that I should think about doing, and they're not necessarily negative, one of which is prayer, certainly. Every day, thinking of the invitation on Jesus' part to relationship, to remind myself that God is alive today in my life, in you and in me. I need that every day. I forget. I just fall back on the rules. I'm going through the motion. Maybe I should, not only in addition to increase prayer, but maybe there are things I should be doing. Reaching out, becoming more socially conscious, aware of people in my community or maybe my family who have needs, and going out of my way to offer some sort of support or help or compassion. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be just directed at me, measured by keeping the rules. It can be many things, and it can be multiple times. One day I do this, and the next day I do that. At least I got a shot. If I go for 6 weeks, starting now, and saying I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to do that for 6 weeks, my track record isn't that great. And then I wind up coming Holy Week, and all I find is disappointment. I'm not following God. I really haven't done very much. I'm not so much any closer to his love than I was at the beginning. It doesn't mean I'm bad. It just means that somewhere I missed it. If I work every day in terms of trying to reach out to God and be aware that he's already present, that he already loves me, that will motivate me to pray, to reach out to others in need, and even maybe to forgive my limited self-absorption from time to time. That's who I am. But am I trying? Am I engaged? Am I trying each day? At the end of Lent, maybe I should measure that if I've made efforts, never mind every day during Lent, but if I've made efforts to continually grow and become more aware of God's love and presence in my life, even though I may every other day fail, but I renew that commitment, then I will find that I've gone through some Good Friday. There's been sacrifice, but not the oppressive kind of lifeless experience, that it's been an effort in love. And then when I discover that, then I will continually discover at the same time that God is alive, that Easter, that resurrection is a part of my everyday life. That's what Lent might mean. Am I a Pharisee? Sometimes. Am I a follower of Jesus with love as a primary motive? Sometimes. Oftentimes, I'm just concerned about me. But I just need to make the effort each day. Do I want to engage and respond to the invitation of Christ to believe in a God who is life-giving, a God who already loves me, a God who holds me in his hands? I hope that you continue to pray for one another, that you remain safe, and that we maintain our optimism in the midst of these pressures and try to take each day one day at a time. God bless.